This is going to be the Loliesport going up against the orKs to finish off round 3. And then we're going to hop right into round 4 right after with Ronin Horde versus Not a Phase. And right now in the standings, Ronin Horde are the top teams. To give you a little breakdown here, +6, Team Exile and orKs both tied for second place with a +2. And then in third place, or fourth place technically, is Exius at 0. Loli Esports also at 0. And then Not a Phase and Regenerate rounding out the bottom with -4 and -6 respectively. Now, in this first match, orKs White versus the Loli Esports. Now, Pulse, we've seen both of these teams play. orKs has made their debut match, and Loli Esports has now played 2. They won 1, and then they lost 1 against the Ronin Horde before winning versus Regenerate. I think in this case, we know that Ronin Horde has pretty much established themselves as one of the top teams. But what do you think about orKs? We heard that they're a little bit scared, possibly, on the side of some of these other teams. They're a little bit scared or wary of orKs. I want to see what they want to bring to the table. But do you think Loli Esports has a chance?
Oh, definitely. They have a chance to make a big upset here. Really, I mean, going into this match, clearly the favorites in a way is orKs, just because like you said, a lot of people, even from other teams, are a little scared of them. They have potential to kind of be this big, scary, top tier team along with them. And right now at the moment they are in third place, but that's just because they played one match, they get a +2, so they're already in that positive range. Where Loli Esports won one match, lost one match, so they are kind of at that perfect zero, that balance. So they are in that kind of no man's region. So Loli right now, if they win this match in a clean 2-0 sweep, they can kind of come for like orKs spot at the moment in
Yeah.
that positive range. But orKs can create some distance from that mid-tier
Yeah.
table. If they win it out here, they would go into the +4, take over that second place spot right below Ronin Horde, and they could even have potential to tie for first place if
Mm.
Ronin Horde gets swept later today. So it would be a +4 tie at the top. So yeah, there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of ways this could swing. orKs could instantly drop down to the mid tier of the table, or they could hop up to the higher end. So we'll see. There's a lot this match has to unpack, and Loli has a chance for a big upset.
Absolutely, they do. It really depends on them here if they want to, because I'm sure they're going to be chasing that win. Who wouldn't be, right? Who wouldn't want a win here? And especially if it'll bring you up further in the standings, right? You'll go into the top 3 and you'll send orKs back to the position that you started in. And I'm absolutely positive that Loli Esports is going to be coming into this. They're fired up. They're ready
Mhm.
to win against the orKs.
Yeah, we have some good matches here, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. It's going to be very intense. Now, remember, for this first match, we still are in the bottom end of round 3. So the first map is going to be Rialto. So Rialto is going to be the escort map. And remember, even for round 3 and 4, so it's going to continue on to Friday.
Mm-hmm.
The maps are going to be escort, assault, control. So the first one's always going to be escort maps. We know those for sure. This first match is going to be Rialto. The next match is going to be Route 66. So a little odd getting thrown in there. Escort's not really something we start on too often, but it's going to be for these rounds, we're going to get a little weird. We're getting into their mid rounds, starting to get a little heated up. Everyone's past that little warm up phase, and
Mm-hmm.
we're starting to weed out those kind of we're starting to recognize the higher end teams compared to the mid tier teams and the lower end teams. So this is where things are going to start to get a little crazy as we're moving on to Rialto.
Okay, Rialto. We saw this. Teams play this. The interesting thing about how they play Rialto is they use triple tank. They use the Roadhog, they use Risa, and they use Diva, which is really interesting on both sides, actually, both attack and defense. And then double sniper and solo support, which I think is really interesting. Why would they run these kind of comps, Pulse?
I feel like it's just to kind of get more presence, I would say, on the point. And Rialto, it's essentially just one long street with some, detours on the sidewalks on the right and the left, really. So you always want to have a huge presence on the point, kind of get, a little bit more of HP on the point itself, just
Mhm.
so that when you're kind of taking a lot of this trash spam damage that would be raining down on you, you have a better chance to kind of make it through it. Also, you could since there's a lot of high ground here, I'm assuming the defense team will be a little more spread out than the offense team, as the offense team usually kind of sticks together as as just kind of a presence on the point. While in comparison, you could you could kind of weed out those people who
Oh yeah.
maybe aren't behind the shield or are kind of spread out different from the team. So that's gonna be I feel like an important key here to try to have some longevity in these fights. That's the thing. The longer these fights last, the team that has the spawn advantage is gonna be the one to
Oh.
advantage from
Oh
that.
goodness, look at the defense here. Look at this gates. Look where they're setting up. Oh my goodness, they're looking to ambush them. They don't even know where they're gonna come from. This is okay. I like this strategy. Gonna come out of the bushes, like a tiger pouncing onto your prey. Oh, they're prepping the speed boost. Here they come. Let's look at how the offense is going to be able to counter this. I don't think they can. Oh, here it comes. The push comes on in. There's the fire strike, and teams brawling it out here. It's a mosh pit right in the middle. Payload hasn't even gotten a chance to move. Right now, Chester LP's got to be careful. He's getting pretty low here. He's pressured by the other Reinhardt of Reckless. Forced to charge in. Tries to take down Cloud, but he gets the armor pack right away and tries to keep himself alive. And the fight's just all over the place right now, and a shatter's already been built up by Reckless. He throws that one down, and they're all falling down like dominoes here. My goodness, what a fight. That was a little interesting there.
That was interesting. There's not too often we see the defense team try to take the fight straight to them, and that's the risk you run when you take that fight. Straight on the point to them is that you risk a team wipe early, and so now they're gonna get this point moving. It was an interesting strategy. I'm kind of glad I saw it just to see how that would work out. Yeah, it didn't work out for them in that situation. A shatter is in there, but there's a graviton surge with
bomb
the Diva bomb.
It's gonna knock everyone back there. Reinhardt was charged away by Reckless. And my goodness, the orcs are just steamrolling their way through Rialto here. 2-1 fights with their ultimates. Defense, you might want to switch it up here. You're kind of ramming your head into the wall. Yeah, you see Jorahara switching over to the Mercy here. But they've taken Rialto very dominantly in this first streets phase in the courtyard. Now, gonna push through the bridge and past the waterfront, and let's see what they can do.
I think Pharah's a good choice here. They don't really have a good answer to that. It'll make Cloud kind of have to focus in the sky, trying to take out that Pharah instead of on the front line where it should be the Coalescence in there and the Diva Bomb in the back.
It's not gonna find anything. Yeah, but the Coalescence is still there, but the Sound Barrier was invested by Brutal. But regardless, Chester LP is still taken down. Not enough shields for him. Cloud, in the meantime, is trying to just pressure the tanks back, but as a result, Chester LP is able to get res. The pressure was just not enough here, but they're still pushing them back right now. They're trying to fight a losing battle because they are 5v6 with Natner down, and the offense is just being very aggressive here from the orcs here. I love this. They're storming the castle gates, taking the fight to them.
Exactly, yeah, and they're putting up the pressure that you need to put up, and like I said, they're sticking on this car, kind of playing a close game. There's the shatter. It is going to find the Lucio.
Wakazashi takes down 2, but now it's a 4v4. Now a 3v3 as Hakan takes down Jorahara, and Reckless is found as well. I think, though, that Ryan pick is a little more crucial here, especially now as Cloud is team-mech. But Chester LP, he doesn't know where to look. He's kind of surrounded right now. Hakan is just Spider-Manning his way around him right now. Influx finally moves in for some more pressure, but he's team-mech'd. Gonna drop the bomb to get the fresh mech. A counter shatter is gonna get Little Flame and Pika. Both of them now falling on the point. I think the offense needs to back off. Yeah, you see Starboy trying to roll out his way out of there, but Wakazashi takes him down. Defense holding for now.
It's going to be a restart for the offense. They did get that snowball rolling, and I'm loving the tank play right now. They are running this triple tank, and all of them are performing at the level they need to perform, especially Reckless. Kind of enabling both those two team wipes at the early stage of this game. Now, moving on here, it's going to be up to him to kind of take on Chester LP early in the fight, but he's going to get stunned.
Yeah, Hakan was looking for the shots, can't really find a solid angle here, whereas Reckless is holding down the front line, trying to apply the pressure. Here comes the grab. Is there going to be a follow-up? Hakan catches Jorahara. There's the rally, though, from Natner. The bomb comes in, but it's a little bit too late. Falls off the high ground, doesn't find anything. Little Flame is found. Chester LP taken down as well. They're trading back and forth. Reckless has a shatter, but he's very low. He's been building these up very quickly, and he's been finding value with most of them. He's just got to be careful he doesn't go down before he can find a big one here. I don't even think you need it, though, but now Wakazashi trying to get the counter picks. The boop comes out, and he's going to invest the Sound Barrier from Brutal here. Little Flame, meanwhile, taking down the Farah of Wakizashi, and the defense is still holding strong here. Lolly, this is where, if you are the orcs, you got to rethink your strategy. It's so hard to push through here, especially with this attack that you currently have, this double sniper, because they can't really find a solid angle when everyone's hiding around the choke like this.
Yeah, exactly. Hakan was the first one to fall in that last fight, so it was up to Little Flame to kind of take care of the fair in the sky, and by the time he was investing all his resources up in the sky to the point where they already lost the ground war. So they do need to make Farah kind of the focus to take out that pharmacy comp in the sky before you engage, because they're just going to cause hell for your tanks on the front.
Watch Reckless. No, never mind. Watch Wakizashi takes down 2. I was going to say watch Reckless because he got the shatter. Hakan, though, getting the counter picks, and here is another shatter by Chester LP. Finishes off Reckless, and that's pretty much going to be the fight ended right now. Starboy is there for the res, but Cloud's pressured, and he doesn't have any healing. Forced to invest the bomb. Here's a big bomb from Cloud and a shatter as well from Reckless. Both of them comboing their ultimates here. Influx DMAC. He's going to be finished off. Wow. Okay, orcs, I see you. I thought that fight, I was like, nope, they lose this one. You know, too many ultimates. Wakizashi opened things up, but Hakan got the counter picks, and they got the combo. So orcs are going to keep pushing here as we move on to the final art gallery.
Right, we've seen it earlier with this Dragon's going to try to split up the team. But we've seen this earlier with Orcs. You know, they never say die, and Little Flame's going to take out the Lucio on the other end. So there is not a lot of healing. That's going to force the Zen. Oh, actually, wait, that's on the Zen on the side of Orcs. So this is the ball is rolling. Reckless has the shatter, so be careful.
Oh my goodness, Reckless catches Natner, charges him into the wall. Reinhardt taking down his apprentice of Brigitte here. And Reckless, let's just talk about this. Shatters every single fight. It's insane. And every single time he's found value with them. Pulse, what is it that is allowing him to find these?
It's just perfect timing. Honestly, Reckless is waiting for those perfect opportunities, and at times he starts the animation, you know, while the Reinhardt shield's still up. So you're thinking, what is he thinking? But then, as soon as the hammer comes down, the Reinhardt shield on the other end of Chester LP is down. Yeah. So it's just this perfect, superb timing. Finding the great opportunities to do it and combining it with this team. Great coordination.
Dragon Strike from Little Flame. It's going to be going in the back. It's not going to find anything. I think it was actually eaten by Influx there. Yes, it was. I don't see it at all. But regardless, Little Flame undeterred finds the picks, and now the DMAC onto Influx. He's found, and now they're finishing off. Picking off the stragglers. Brutal is the last one standing here. He's trying to dodge his way in, but orcs are still going to be moving on through here. I see one more contest, but I think the defense from the Lolly was still good enough where that they've burned down a lot of their time. They only got really a minute and 30 seconds left, which, you know, isn't the best of time banks here. Chester LP charging in. Natner does go down very early in the fight, and it's really hard to come back from that deficit, especially as Chester LP goes down as well. There's a counter bomb from Influx, but it's not going to find anything really just for the fresh mech, and Cloud's just brought back into the fight. Here's a Transcendence, though, from Pika, trying to keep everyone healthy. Speaking of, Brutal tried to respond with his own sound barrier there, but I think the Transcendence is just too much healing to contend with. And Hakan finds Wakizashi, but he's brought back into the fight, and now Natner fragging Pika. Here comes the Shatter. Here comes the Dragon Strike, and the combo is going to be enough. They're holding on here, living on a prayer with 2.33 meters left, as that's almost a full team wipe. Only Hakan escaping the clutches of the Dragon Strike in that one, and 48 seconds left now for the orcs.
Influx may have potentially saved this game for his team single-handedly. He ate another Dragon Strike from Little Flame. Little Flame put in another one, and again, it was eaten. So that's 2 Dragon Strikes Influx has eaten in this match so far. So, yeah, exactly. Saving his team from those high-damage kills. Pika's going to find Natner, though. That's going to be an important pick.
Here comes the Shatter. Reckless has got it. Can he find another big one? Let's see if it is truly worth its name of the Earth Shatter. Charging into Chester LP. He knocks him down there, and now this gives him an opportunity, but he's going to counteract. The healing was there from Brutal, and Chester LP is going to be able to stay alive, but not for long as he's finished off by Little Flame. And it's just the Lucio left. We know how good of a contester he is, but it's so hard when there's just that much damage, and they're going to be finished off here. So the orcs, again, Pulse, never say die. They lose one fight and they just get right back into it, right back rolling with their picks. 4.7 seconds left. I mean, that's a pretty solid time back there. What do you think, Pulse?
I mean, hey, if you add a minute onto that, the game gives you. Oof, you have a lot of time. You can just have a good stroll through Italy, enjoy the weather out here.
Absolutely. Now we're going to switch sides. We're going to see what the Loliesport can do on attack. You saw them try that Goat's defense right near the spawn. We all know how that one turned out. And it was just an interesting fight. I think, you know, the thing is with Goats is the longer the fight lasts, the harder it is that you need to hold on, because Goats is all about momentum, building ults quickly, and then burning those ults as fast as possible. And if you can't find value with your ultimates, then you're just going to get shut down. And I think, you know, Reckless, we saw him. We saw that massive shatter. I mean, knocked everyone flat on their back. It was a full-on strike from him, you know, if we're talking bowling here. And then they just completely shut down that defense, and then they tried again. But then as a result, the offense had the ultimate advantage, and they just shut it right down again. They finally got stalled out once you know, you saw the Loliesport win one of those defensive fights. But I think this composition is a little bit better, a little more classic of Rialto. You know, like I said before the match, triple tank.
Yeah, exactly. It's something that that'll work well, and of course, you know, the Ryusa Hog, very classic on Rialto. You know, trying to get those maybe an early halt off the side of the bridge. So and trying to get some cheeky picks there. I think that'll be the you know, something that we see Reckless try to go for. But Reckless's tank play on the day has been superb. So I would love to see how that kind of translates when he switches over to this Orisa hero on the side of the offense. It's going to be that little Goats comp that you were talking about.
I mean, Ghosts at this point, I'm feeling like Ghosts has just become more and more meta as teams realize it, but Little Flame finds Jorahara. With the Moira down, you lose a lot of your healing, a lot of your utility. Little Flame was able to find that shot, you know, around the little shield of Chester LP there, and Wakazashi is soon to be finished off as Chester LP is forced to charge forward, and now they're sandwiched in this room. Now he's betwixt the two tanks of Pika and Cloud here. Chester LP, he's 1 HP, somebody save him! No! He's taken down, and Cloud is going to knock Influx over the edge there with the boosters. And defense now put themselves in a good position here. The tank line, again, it was all on Little Flame there to find the picks through the shield, and we're going to see what he can find again.
All right, switching to the dive on the side of the offense here. That Goats comp wasn't really working out too well for them, and I love that they're switching instantly. You know, often we'll see teams, they're going around the side on the left. They're going to try to do a dive. Exactly, yeah.
I love that. I love that positioning, and Natner finds value right away. This dive comp already looking good on the side of the offense here as Little Flame is the first to found. Natner takes advantage of that dash reset to get some damage in. Cloud's low. He's got the healing from Starboy, though, to sustain him, and Wakazashi is just trying to apply the damage, but here, Brutal is found. The Lucio, not the biggest of losses because you still have your Mercy, and they're able to res him right back into the fight as a result here. And he now speed boosting his team. The dive comes in once more, but Natner takes an arrow to the face, and Wakazashi and Chester are both finished off. And here's the dive beginning to flounder here. They're like a fish out of water, and they're just not going to be able to find the value.
I loved how that dive was initiated. You know, it got value instantly, trying to checking out Hakan, you know, pretty much as soon as the fight started, you know. And then, you know, once they started to engage, or just kind of gave a little bit of a ground so that they could take the fight on their terms, you know, not be overwhelmed by that dive. The point moved a little bit, but that's still no disadvantage to them. The dive's going to re-engage again, and they already found Starboy.
There you go. That's a huge pick because the Mercy's now down, and they're looking for another dive here, but he goes right into the Dragon Strike, is able to find the healing from Jorahara, but Chester LP is so low as a result, and Influx is going to be taken down. He doesn't have the support of his... What a hook, by the way. Of his D.Va. And I still think the offense has a chance here, especially with the sound barrier that they've just invested. Little Flame is trying to turn things around, but you don't have the D.Va of Cloud. He's out of his mech. Chester LP now investing the Primal Rage to keep himself alive, and he splits up Little Flame from the team. He's now going to be sandwiched between the team, and here comes Natner with a blade himself. Catches Hakan right away, getting revenge for that arrow to the face he took earlier, and he's just driving them back right now. Jorahara finally brings him back up. He was forced to deflect there, but Starboy is again found. Was the first to die, and now perhaps the last to die, as they're looking to take this, but you've got Pika waiting around the corner, and he's got the whole hog here. He's going to use it, take a breather, and now investing his ultimate there. He's got the support, but there's a deflect from Natner to deal most of the damage. Supercharger is invested as well from Reckless here. They're looking to get themselves settled here as Natner is taken down with a shield bash. Brutal goes over the edge here. 60 seconds left, and the dive is pushed back. Here's a barrage very high up in the air from Wakazashi. Didn't perhaps find the value that he wanted.
Yeah, I don't know if you invest that in the fight, especially if your team is already kind of in a restart. Maybe it's just to kind of push them back to give your team a chance to pull out without you know, losing any more picks. But they do have, you know, time for one more push to kind of take this. The dive is going to initiate here. Yeah, they're going to try to make the Pharah in the sky kind of distract everyone, but Pika's going to get a big hook.
He was halted and then hooked as well, but Wakazashi, regardless, takes down Hakan. Hakan's res, though, in the face of Chester LP, somehow, and Hakan finds the shot onto him. Here's a bomb invested by Cloud. This fight's going to go towards the defense. Hakan's just been finding picks over and over and over, shutting fights down again and again. And unless the Loliesport comes up big here with this bomb, catches Reckless. Is Is it going to be enough, though? 5 seconds left. Can they re-engage here? They don't have their Winston. They got to get onto the point. D.Va's there, but she's D-mech. Natner pushes in. Here's a Blade trying to open things up. Little Flame is found. This could be the opening that they need. Now he's cutting the team open, trying to find a surgical pick. But now, Barrage as well. Wakazashi finds Pika before he's taken down by Cloud with the micro missiles and the defense matrix. The Dragon Strike is invested. Not going to find a whole lot, though. Now it's just a bit of a mosh pit on the point here. Scrappy fight going back and forth. Starboy's found they have the spawn advantage on the side of the defense here. However, Cloud D-Mac, Chester LP. Finally, the monkey is no longer angry, but he's still able to find the picks onto Reckless with the help of Brutal. And they're going to keep pushing forward here in overtime. Capping the point. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left here. They got to keep on this payload. They got to keep it rolling. Cannot step on the brakes here. Oh, Pika going for a bit of a cheeky hook there just for the reset.
Yeah, gonna go for the reset. But I kind of loved that, that fight there. It just kind of showed
Very
how
scrappy.
orcs never say die, even when it seemed like they lost that fight. But they're able to win this out. Loli's able to win it out for them, and kind of push it past the limit where I thought they'd make it. They actually made it all the way through. They're going to try to re-engage here, and this dive seems to be the comp that they work for them. They kind of tried out 3 comps so far, and dive
Hakan
seems to be the one working for them.
Yep, Hakan, though, is the first to find the pick onto Natner. This is just a sibling rivalry between Hanzo and Genji. It's the classic lore. Influx almost goes over the edge, but he's going to use the bomb just to get back into his mech and knocks out Cloud, who then uses his own D.Va bomb just to get back in his mech. Hakan, though, again finds Wakazashi. Cloud almost goes over the edge once more, but now Valkyrie invested. Defense is looking like they don't really have the ultimates to sustain this fight in the long term as Chester LP is found, but Hakan is now found in turn. The res is there from Starboy once more. Hakan's brought back into the fight, and the defense is just forcing a reset from the offense once more, but they've got the ultimates for this next fight. They got the Blade, they got the Sound Barrier. All they got to do is bait out this Transcendence.
Yeah, that's going to be the key, is baiting out that Transcendence so that Nana could find full use out of his Blade. So we'll see how they could do it. You can invest, Chester LP's ult to kind of draw it out. So we'll see how they do it.
Little Flame with a crossfire is setting things up here, trying to find the shots onto the point there. Jorahara is finished off by Cloud with the help of Little Flame. This crossfire is sublime. That's exactly what they wanted here. And they're forcing another reset. Beautiful positioning from Little Flame there and setting themselves up. And the pressure dive is there, but it's just too late. And they've already found the value here. And Chester LP might be taken down. No, he's going to be forced to use the Primal Rage. I would have just reset there if I was him.
Yeah, and look, now he's just kind of standing still, waiting for the rest of his team. A little unfortunate that ult was used, and Influx, also used the ult, so there's no ult from either side of the tanks, and the defense is just gonna own them there. But Reckless is gonna get a little too reckless.
He's not in a resable position, so they can't bring him back into the fight. But Cloud and Hakan again, they're finding the picks. They don't even need their team. Chester LP is brought back, but Hakan finds Brutal again. He switched over to the Zen, not quite as slippery on the Zen Yahara, and here's Hakan with another Dragon Strike, opening things up. Pika now, he knows he's got to use the Transcendence. They couldn't bait things out, and Hakan shuts him down once more. This OT ticking down in the DPS line of Hakan. Oh my goodness! Catches 3, catches all the picks in that fight there, and he's gonna catch them the dub as well here on the first map of Rialto. This is all on Hakan right now. Totally the MVP.
Oh, definitely putting the team on his shoulders and just kind of carrying them to that victory. Little Flame is going to get play of the game here. This is when they were coming out trying to fight this Goats comp up front. Goodness, after the shatter of Reckless, Little Flame went crazy. Everyone lying on the floor, and you can't hold back when all those enemies are just waiting there, begging to be killed, essentially. But yeah, definitely, orcs, on the side of orcs, there's just so many people you could point out. You could point out Hakan, Little Flame, Reckless, Starboard. You could point out so many good people that just performed at the level they need to be performing at. And it was honestly such a good fight. And I love the resiliency that orcs kind of showed throughout this map. And they showed it in their last game too. They never say die. Even when the fight is essentially over, the cart could be 2.0 meters from the actual capture point, and it would still, that would still be, winnable for the orcs, essentially. Absolutely. That's their mindset. It's still winnable. So I just love the resiliency that they're showing, and I just love that they're so smart. Instantly
Oh yeah.
they have good game sense. Like even when that little time where Loli was kind of resetting and they set up that crossfire, they thought of that like right off the top of their head. They're like, okay, let's set up a crossfire quickly so that once this fight starts, we kind of get both our snipers putting the pressure on them.
Hmm.
And like how do you think of that off the top of your head? Clearly you have a lot of practice.
Oh yeah.
This team seems very close with each other, and we're gonna move on to Hanamura.
Now, Hanamura, great map. Choke point central here, pretty much, from these
Mhm.
teams. And not switching sides at all, so we're going to have the same colors, which is nice.
Yeah.
Not too confusing. And if you are, we saw this the other day, and I really love this strategy from Team Exile, is the defense set up on the high ground with on the high ground, above the attacker
Mhm.
B spawn. They set themselves up there on the sides of Not a Phase. And what Team Exile did, what I loved, is because they had the Orisa, they had the Hog, and they had the Diva. And then as soon as they knew that, they ran Symmetra from Team Exile. And then they teleported themselves behind them straight onto the point, set up the Symmetra turrets, and that
That's
just
awesome.
completely shut them down. Like, I had no idea how to counter it, and I loved it so much from Team Exile. I thought it was such a creative strategy, and I'm like, you gotta practice that one. I talked to
Mhm.
Alex after, and I was like, how did you come up with this strategy? And he was like, it's all on the Atom. It was all his idea,
Right.
his strategy. He loves pushing that, and he was the Symmetra player too. So, and then they pushed right onto point B using it as well. And I wonder if we're gonna see that creative of a strategy here on
Mhm.
either side here. But it looks like defense, they're gonna be setting up again with this composition. This Orisa, and then this Roadhog, which makes sense. The pulled pork, and I assume they're gonna set up on the high ground, much like Not a Phase did. Yep, moving right up there.
Mhm.
Oh, the
Uh-oh.
Torb Orisa. Okay, all right, you're doing something a little cheeky here.
They have a sim as well, so it's we have an interesting comp here on defense. They're gonna run the double builders pulled pork combination, which is
Hmm.
a
All
comp.
right, all right.
So
I
we'll
want to
see how
see
that
this.
works.
Let's see how this one works.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
very
gonna run goats.
interested. They're just looking like Bob the Builder over here, setting up on the high ground. Can they fix it? But look, goats. Look at that. So smart. What a good reaction there from Orcs. They know right away to just move on in. But look, they teleport their entirety of the defense onto the point. Natner's turret, though,
Awesome.
is
Yeah.
fallen. What a creative strategy. I don't know if it's going to work out in the end here because the Ghost has already established itself on the point, and that's just scary to run into here. But they're butting heads on the points, like goats do. And trying to establish dominance from either side here. But the boops is there, the zoning is there, and with 2 picks already, Natner, Chester LP, and Wakazashi all found. This is going to be the point going to the Ghost comp. But again, what an interesting offense. And Pulse, let's talk about their reaction for a second. The second that they saw where they were setting up, they just ran right underneath them, and they couldn't find the value. I loved that reaction from them right away. Just showing, again, like you said, good game sense.
Exactly, yeah, they're so intelligent. These are some of the most intelligent
Intellectual.
players that we have in this tournament, essentially. They are going to try to engage here on this point B. They're going to invest the Coalescence early just so
there
they
you
get
go.
in there, but Influx is gonna down Little Flame.
Bomb on the
Hit
point!
the bomb point.
Catches Chester
Ooh.
LP. Counter pick starting to come in. 2 down. Jorahara is there for the Wez. Brings Wakazashi back into the fight here. And now the Fair is applying pressure. And you don't really have a solid counter to the Fair, especially with the Farm Mercy. There's just simply not enough damage here. But regardless, they've established himself on the point, and Cloud dives onto Jorahara and takes him down as he uses the Valkyrie. And this is going to be the offense taking this unless they can pull off some sort of miracle hold here. Chester LP is trying to get on the point, but he's just zoned out. The boop from Starboy, the whip shot from Hakan. Too much CC, and he just can't get back on. The Ghost comp of Orcs has just looked so good.
Oh, so good. And look at their time is going to
2
increase
minutes.
by
Oh my goodness.
massive amount of time. They have so much time if this goes into another round. But there's something to pay attention to. I love how Loli's been kind of showing us these, creative strategies. They may not be working just because Orcs has such intelligence in game sense and they know how to react well to, kind of oddball situations. We saw even on last time on Rialto, kind of Loli Esports running that goats on the left side of the side, where the attackers come out. They kind of pounce on them early. If any other unprepared team, that would 100% work. You could see where Loli's mindset is. They're trying to run these creative strategies that throw teams for a loop a little bit, and make them scratch their head. And that's what they were trying to do on this last point as well. But I think they have to kind of slowly understand that Orcs, they're so intelligent. They adapt so well that you can't really do that against these guys.
Oh yeah.
So they're reacting is so good, you know,
It's
and
perfect.
like yeah, exactly. They know when to switch over and when to switch up the comps to kind of take care of Loli. The key for Loli here is just they need to kind of match that momentum and that kind of attitude of never say die
Hmm.
with that orcs is kind of bringing to the table, because you know you feel like, you know, as a team, if you get 2 or 3 kills, you're thinking like, okay, the momentum is on our side. We're gonna, you know, start to win this out here. But that's not true for orcs. You know, they'll keep fighting until there's no person left on that point. While we see, you know, often
Yeah.
Lowly kind of doing those full team resets where like 3 people would just do a suicide just so the whole team could reset.
I
So you
it's
kind of have to match that.
it's like it makes sense. They're the orcs, right? I mean, they like what do you expect orcs to do? I mean, you ever watch Lord of the Rings? Like you see those guys, they are the definition of never say die. So I'm glad to see their name fits, you know, their kind of team's personality. Okay, Wakazashi, what are
Ooh.
you doing here with this Mei? I want to see this. I want to see this strategy again. I love this. There you go. This is what I was talking about. The Team Exile strategy. They're taking a page out of their book and they teleport themselves right up to the point, and the Mei wall to block it off. Cloud, however, now he's locked in. He's demeched. The Symmetra turrets were able to find that, and they've already gotten a tick on the point. They need to move it to contest, but the Mei wall, oh my goodness, the response is amazing. Starboy has to get the heck out of dodge as fast as he possibly can, and they've already gotten 2 ticks here on the point. Wakazashi now finds Pika, and oh my goodness, I love you. I love this strategy here from the Loli Esports. That is amazing. I love that. Team Exile, they took a page out of their book and they perfected it. They made it better with the Mei to wall them off the point. So smart. I love these cheeky strategies. Oh my goodness.
Oh, Loli is gonna flip it in their favor.
Hakan's picked as well. This is huge. They need to push in right away.
Exactly.
They're
Yeah,
fighting this 5v6.
this Lucio needs to speed boost them onto the point, but it's gonna
Oh,
be
okay.
tough because they're waiting for a reset. They're gonna have to speed boost. Yeah, Natner fell in that
Oh,
last
unlucky.
fight, so they had to get him. Yeah, that's a little unlucky. So it's gonna give defense the time to set up.
Oh, just
But the
walk slow.
creative strategies, what we were talking about, you know, that paid off here in this fight, and I'm so glad we got to see that. And they're gonna teleport on the left side.
I think Little Flame. I think Little Flame knew though. You saw him spamming some rockets out there, and they're gonna do exactly what Team Exile did, splitting them up on the point. There is the counter, Soundberry though, to try and counteract this tire from Hakan. 2 picks already. 4v5 now on the point as the Symmetra turrets take out the tire of Hakan. Here's a Blizzard on the point, transforming Japan into Antarctica for the time being. Cloud on the side, those are going to avoid it, flies right into the Mei wall. Wakazashi evading death for the time being. However, here comes the tank line. He's demeched though from Cloud, and Reckless has got to get on the point, but it's so hard, especially when there's a grab in the corner from Influx there, just to shut down Pika's reset here, and he can't get back on with the Transcendence that he might have been able to build. And here's a counter shatter coming out from Chester LP. He's very low HP here though. Jorahara did get found. Chester LP now falling to Little Flame here, but I think the point, they haven't even gotten 1 tick yet on the side of Loli Esports here, and I think the defense finally has enough resources with the spawn advantage to push them back. But what a strategy from them.
Goodness.
Almost worked out in their favor here, but I think Little Flame knew, and then he let his team know, and they were able to rotate and deal with it accordingly.
Oh, absolutely. Goodness, that was such a great strategy. You know, we mentioned it earlier how Lowly is kind of known for their creative strategies, you know, once they go on. They're going to switch over to the dive now to kind of bring the fight to them. Dive was also their switch. It kind of seems like a little comfort comp for them. When, you know, things are kind of going bad and they don't really know what to do, they switch over to this dive. And it worked out last time for them. You know, they were able to get that first point on Rialto, so we'll see how it works out here.
Yeah.
But those creative strategies are really going to be the key, and there goes a barrage.
You see, Chester LP was diving onto Pika and drove him back into the spawn, but that left their backline open, very squishy, and the Little Flame is going to take advantage. He treats them like a stress ball, you know? He wants to squeeze them. They're all squishies, finds the picks with the barrage and just shutting them down with the pressure, and the rest of his team as well just shut down that push completely. So, Lolly, they got to get pushed back here, and they're already down some time here, 2 minutes below what the orcs have. And Pulse, what do you think they can maybe take it on this next push? It's very hard though with these ultimates.
Yeah, on this next push, I don't think so. On this next push, I think the key here is to just draw out a couple ultimates. Maybe draw out the Transcendence. Maybe force Starboard to use that Valkyrie. Because if you're running into this, you know, it's going to be a loss, especially with your ult economy.
So hard.
It's not going to match it at all. Hakan's going to always have the tire, so I don't think there's any use in trying to draw out that tire per se, because Junkrat gets the tire in 2 seconds. In fact, look, Hakan's going to throw it in right now. Going to see if he can find anybody. He's going to find Brutal Fish.
Down Brutal. And Natner found as well. They only baited out one ultimate though. Only the Tire needed to shut
Yeah.
down the fight. Not looking too good here as Little Flame. You know, they were running the Widowmaker originally, but then he switched over to this Tracer, I think for the contest, but he might be staying on this. Actually, yep, going back to the spawn. He's going to go for the switch here in the fight. Once he switch over to the Brigitte, gives him a little more value with the stuns, which I do like.
Right.
Wakazashi though, he's got the bomb here, and Jorahara's got the Valkyrie. They might be able to have a chance here on this push.
Yeah, my only thing here is that on the side of the offense, you know, Ho's gonna kind of take care of those people on the high ground. You know, your tanks are gonna have to be the one to engage them, make them drop down. But like you said, that leaves the backline open. Both Valkyries are gonna be invested into this fight, so there goes an ult that they forced out, and Little Flame is actually winning this out for them.
Yeah, he found two, winning both Natner and Chester LP almost single-handedly. Natner trapped, and he is taken advantage of in that vulnerable position that he was in. He's going to be taken down. And again, the offense, yeah, they're just going to look for the reset here with 2 minutes 50 left, though. Only a few attacks left here has Brutal. He's just looking for the reset here. Give him the sweet release of death. Poor guy.
Yeah, it's just a little unfortunate because you know, on the side of the offense, you know, every time you're running your head into these walls, trying to break through, trying to break the wall, essentially.
You're gonna be a seizure. Little Flame, don't do that, please. Okay. Whoa. He was spamming the shield back and forth there with the rally to give everyone some armor, and that hurt my eyes. Sorry, you guys had to see that on stream.
Oh, goodness. So the rallies are used. Everyone has armored up already. Oh, no. Little Flame switched over to Brigitte. And that actually causes the armor to go away. I didn't know that. So all the armor kind of disappears once you switch over to that Brigitte. And I don't know if Little Flame knew that.
Here comes the Tire.
Here comes the Tire. He's going to try to separate. Everyone's going to find Jorahara.
Yeah, but the Ghost Comp has set itself on the point already. But when you're fighting this 1-5v6, especially with the Moira down, not a whole lot you can do. There's a bomb. Catches a con. Wakazashi's found as a counter pick, though. They're trading out right now for the on this point B. And I think because the defense has spawn advantages, I mean, even if you're trading, that's still advantage towards the defense, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Every elimination they get on you is a win for them, essentially. But this is the thing I wanted them to do. They drew out 3 ultimates in that fight. So that's what I wanted them to do, you know, a little bit earlier. It's unfortunate because the time they have now, and Starboy already has the Valkyrie with Little Flame about to get the barrage, so they're always running their head into ultimates, it seems like. It's just a little unfortunate game that they have to be playing.
Brutal playing us some jazz as they're trying to push on in here onto the point, but there's a barrage by Little Flame. Wakazashi, though, is found by Reckless. And now Chester LP finished off his ball, was knocked onto the high ground there by the concussive mine, and then charged himself into the wall up there. And 1 minute left. Man, we've seen the time. It's just been dwindling now. It's escaping their hands. It's like they're trying to pick up a fish, you know, but the fish is all slimy. He's just out of the water, and they can't get a solid hold on him. It's just so hard to push in, especially when you've let this. As you've said again and again, Pulse, the defense just has ultimates every single fight.
Exactly, yeah, and you know, they switch over to this Goats comp, but Goats comp is built on momentum, so it doesn't seem like, you know, their heart's kind of in it on this Goats comp. They're kind of just running it just to be like, okay, maybe this will work. So, you know, we have to make it work. The rally's going to engage them so they can finally get on to the point.
Yeah, they've established themselves. Almost 1 tick before the contest comes in, and here's another tire by Hakan. It's taking the high road and now taking down Chester LP as it drops down below to his level. But here comes the stun from Natner onto Reckless here. He's pushed off the point. Very low here. Gotta be careful. But here's another barrage from Little Flame here. He gets the support from his Diva as well, but he's taken down by Wakazashi, who finds 2 as well. Influx now finding the picks. Here is now overtime. This is going to be the last chance. Here's a bomb coming out from Cloud. They need to get out of there. They duck around the corner just in time. Natner the one to stay on the point. And here's a counter bomb coming out from Cloud. They're not going to find a whole lot of now. Influx looking for the big grab. Catches Reckless. Catches Pika. Catches Cloud. They're all falling down on the point. It's like ring around the rosy, but Hakan is back onto the point. He's looking for it. Now the recall's burned. They know this is their time to take him down. He gets stunned, but he's still alive on this point here. Finally taken down. And on the high ground, you see Little Flame switching over to this Doomfist, but he can't get onto the point in time. And Starboy couldn't be there as well. And they finally capped this point out. They were so close on the side of the Orcs to stopping out this defense, but I think Pulse, they finally put their heart into it. The Loliesport,
right? Yeah,
they figured it out. They're like, listen, boys, last push, get your heads in the game. We need to push in, and we need to get it big time. And they are going to find that here as we're switching sides once more on the defense here. Sides staying. We're going to see what the Orcs can do on their attack with this Never Say Die Goats comp, and if the offense can shut things down.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Orcs isn't really known for running as creative strategies as Loli is. So they do have this resiliency mentality, but we'll see how that kind of
Yeah,
pushes on to the point. Like you said, they probably are going to be running the Goats Comcast because it'll give them momentum on the point. Now on the side of Loli, you have to be expecting it.
yeah,
Essentially.
absolutely.
You have to be, prepared for it to come to you. So you really have to be ready to take this fight up front,
And
and we'll see how they, are able to handle that.
yeah, because the thing is, you saw them on the first time where you use their speed boost to get right underneath you, slip right by you, and get onto the point. And you have to be expecting a strategy like that. You know that they're going to be running Goats Comp because it's pretty much it seems to be their staple strategy, and they're going to set up on the point in anticipation of this. So they're going to make them
Right.
run through the courtyard, which is a little interesting. Hopefully, trying to get the damage and stop them out. But we're going to see how the offense is going to respond to this.
Yeah, I think the offense is going to recognize it. Like we said, we
Push
pointed
around
out
on
so
the
many
left side.
times.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, they're so smart. It seems like they're prepared for no matter what creative strategy Loli's throwing at them. So they're ready. Starboard already got kind of low there, so that was a little dangerous.
Hmm.
But he's gonna get healed up by
Here's the
his own healing.
rotation, though.
Plus, yeah.
On the
So
point,
they're
they
gonna.
know.
Ooh, yeah, they're rotating the defense. That's so
Yeah.
awesome, actually.
They know exactly where they're going to be pushing from, and they got to defend this for 5 minutes. This is going to be a miracle hold if they can. But now, they baited them. They thought they were going to push through on the side of the bell, but they actually go right through Main Street once more. And now they got to contest this point, but it's so hard because you've already put yourself in such a bad position. Now you have to defend the point because they've already set themselves up, and with 1 left on the point. Now 2 on the point. They got to hold on tight here. 5 minutes left, 2 through. Already down, and they're so close here. They need to hold on, but they cannot.
Oh no.
They're finished off. They built up the Dragon Strike, but it just wasn't enough, and orksGP White gonna win this one out here 2-0 over the Loli Esports, solidifying themselves in the standing, and they're telling Loli Esports, all right, get back down there. You are going right back down. You're now at a map deficit at a -2, and orksGP, they're bringing themselves up to second place here. Play of the game going to Nadiner, just supporting his team on the point itself. That's gonna be that here. We're going to wait now. We're going to see what the rest of the team can do. And just look at this. Little Flame, 12,000 damage. 29% of his entire team's damage. When you're running Goats, that's very impressive.
Oh, super impressive. To kind of take that fight, to the enemy, and clearly Orcs GP White was kind of the more dominant team here today, performing at the level they need to be performing in. And I just honestly, like, I kind of wish more teams would play like Orcs GP. The way they had it, they have this never say die mentality. I kind of don't like reset suicides, just because I feel like, okay, whatever. Okay,
Yeah,
we know you guys are going for a restart. But on the side of Orcs GP White, I didn't really ever see that from them. Once or twice, clearly, when it's a losing fight, you don't want to give them resources. But like, they never really, did that often. And Orcs GP, they if there's one member alive, still winnable.
absolutely. They have that never say die. Oh, let me restart that sentence there. They have that never say die mentality that just works to their advantage time and time again. Because there'll be fights, on Rialto where I'm like, yep, they lose this one, and Orcs just they grit their teeth, they dig into
Right.
their resolve, and they come up big every single time. They win the fights somehow. It seems like they're fighting a losing battle. They might be down a few players, or there's just ultimates advantage, and they undeterred. I think, like you said, Pulse, what it is they're prepared. They have a specific strategy that they run with, which is Ghost Comp, right? And then
Right.
once they kind of scope out what the defense might have or the offense might have, then they look into their database, they consult the Oracle of Knowledge, and they go, all right, how do we counteract this? Okay, we push this way, and then they do that. And then, like I said on Hanamori, they're just a smart team, just a smart
Right.
team. The second they saw where the defense was holding, they instantly started moving to the best possible position. They're like robots almost here. It's kind of crazy, but I'm really impressed with their gameplay so far, and I think they rightfully deserve the title of being orcs. They are aggressive. They are brutal. They will not stop. They will get right by you, and they are smart players as well.
And they're French. No, I'm just kidding. So they are going to move up to that second place spot. Team Exile, it's something for them to catch now that they're above them, taking that second place spot. They're just saying like, hey man, What's up with that? We're gonna come for that. So that'll be interesting. Especially because next time Team Exile
You know,
is gonna go against Loli as well. So we'll see how they're able to win it out.
you know what's interesting here is because, and I mean, I'm sorry, no disrespect, guys. I know this is just coming out here. Orcs, they're the French team, right? And they are the never say die, never surrender team, which might be a little bit ironic, considering
Yikes.
French's history in the past. But again, guys, no disrespect here, no disrespect. I love you guys. You guys are great. Great team composition, great strategies that I've seen from you. And a little bit of country banter there, going back and forth here, but we're gonna throw to a bit of a break here as we get settled here for our next match, which is gonna be Ronin Horde going up against Not a Phase. And if you'll excuse me, let's open up YouTube here. I'm gonna find some great music for everyone to enjoy.
Hopefully more Guitar Hero.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I played Solus 5 last time, right? But what about the old classic of Solus 4? Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, and players finally filing into the lobby here. We've got all of Ronin Horde waiting on a few players of Not a Phase. They were practicing with a
Ooh.
bit of scrims right before their tournament match. So, I mean, hey, these guys putting their noses to the grindstone here. That's what you gotta do in this tournament. And just as a team in general, you got to be practicing as much as you possibly can. I mean, if you're not practicing,
Right.
it's you're just gonna fall behind. I mean, you've seen teams start just doing 4 hour scrim blocks, which is insane. Usually teams
Hmm.
do 2 hours, but people have realized like four. Why don't we just do two scrim blocks back to back? That'll give us way more practice. And then so
Right.
teams have started doing 4 hour scrim blocks. And if you don't do 4 hour scrim blocks as a team, you're not gonna find as much value or be as good.
Yeah, exactly. And we are gonna move on to this round four. We're kind of getting into the mid tier.
Yeah.
We're kind of getting to the middle of these rounds here, and not a phase. They are gonna be hitting those books, especially since they don't even have a win under their belt yet. Granted, this is their only their third match, but they don't even have a map win yet. So that's something I'm glad to see them practicing. I'm glad that they're still hungry and they want to improve kind of
Absolutely.
on this. They want to get back to kind of a more positive range. The most they can come out of this is still they'll still be at that deficit of -2, but
Hmm.
this would be a great start if they're able to kind of push through it. So I'm glad to see them practicing. That makes me happy to know that. And since we are in these round four, the first map does change. It is going to move on to Route 66, but the map pool itself, the order of the type of maps is still the same. It's still going to be escort, assault, control.
Route 66. Let's talk about this for a second because Route 66, I feel like, to me, is dominated by double sniper on the defense. And
Oh,
then
absolutely.
offense runs dive or, whatever you want. I think goats might not find as much value here because there's
Mm,
just, especially on top of big girls on the side of the defense,
right.
on top of the gas station, they just set themselves up. They pop a shield down. It's very hard to push through that, especially if you have goats because you don't really have a solid way of getting up there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Goats is more. I feel like Assault is really Goats kind of
Yeah.
game mode to be useful in, just because there's a point that you're trying to get to, and you're trying to get everyone off. And Escorts, you have to stay on the cart. And Goats works on that momentum. You don't want to see sitting on a slow moving cart. So that's why often we'll see offenses, assign the Zenyatta or something to cart duty.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't think Goats is going to work out too well here for the side of the offense, but I agree with you on the side of the defense. Double sniper dominates everything, especially since, like we saw on the last map, if they set up like this a sweet crossfire, if they take these ankles to try to take out the offense, it could be overwhelming at times, and especially if you're a shield tank like Reinhardt, or you're a Winston or something, you don't really know where to keep your focus at times. Reinhardt, you're moving your shield back and forth between the two snipers, don't know where to place it, or if Winston, you don't know whether to stay with your team, keep them alive, or if it's time to initiate a dive. So it's a little bit of a confusing thing. The only thing is, on the side of the offense, is that you can't just don't get overwhelmed by it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Is that if you let it get to your head, if it becomes more of a mental game, that's when things could go wrong for your team.
Yeah, Overwatch is definitely a game. It's like fencing,
Hmm.
You're on even ground at the start, and then you're trying to find an opening. You're poking back and forth, trying to see what their weak points are, and it's all about finding that as fast as possible. As soon as you identify what the weak points are, that's when you, as a team, start getting better and better and better, and you look really, really good in the games because you know their weaknesses and you know how to exploit them to your advantage. And I mean, you saw that, right? orKs was doing that most of the time in the last match. They went in, assessed the situation, set up on high ground, and then they thought, what's the best possible way to go about this? And then they went at it, and they exploited the weaknesses that their strategies were presenting themselves. Like when they were set up on the high ground with that very static defense on Hanamura A, with the Orisa
Hmm.
and the Hog, they went right onto the point, right underneath them, and with a double builder comp, they exploited the fact that it was hard for them to rotate and move right onto the point as fast as possible in a position where they couldn't get damaged. And that to me is what Overwatch should be. It should be a game less about mechanics and more about the cerebral play. It should be about who has the better mind games.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's all about kind of pushing your enemy, I guess, to a bad mental state, which I guess is on paper that's a little toxic, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
like it's not. It's just the game of Overwatch. That's kind of how you have to play, and we kind of saw it with the last team we saw. If you're just tuning in now, if you're specifically here for the Ronin Horde, not a phase match, welcome into the Russian Overwatch Cup. But in that last match, we kind of saw we saw a lot of resiliency never say die. Out of orcs, kind of putting that pressure onto the side of Loli Esports. Loli was running these creative strategies, trying to play that mind game against them, saying like, okay, what are you going to do against this? Throwing everyone for a loop, throwing the casters for a loop because we didn't know what they were doing. On on point A defense, they ran Sim Torb, so we're all a little confused here. But eventually once like they kind of got past that mind game part, orcs was kind of able to put that pressure on them and flip the mind game around essentially, and then made them feel overwhelmed, made Loli Esports feel overwhelmed when they were getting charged onto. So that's going to be, the key here is that if the mind games are trying to be played against you, if you're able to flip that around and put it right back on the opponent.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about, if you expose a weakness, well then you see what you can do against that is, do you expose a weakness or do you expose a perceived weakness? Do you fake them out and try to think like, oh, look, our supports are split in the back. Oh, look, please dive on them. And then the second they dive on them, turns out it was a trap the whole time, and you turn right around and turn that aggression back. So it's like sparring, it's like fencing, just back and forth, poking, finding an opening. Do you fake a weakness? Do you actually show them a weakness but then pretend like it was just a fake weakness? Like, it's just, there's so many possibilities in terms of mind games, and I think that's just really impressive to see how teams want to go about that. We're gonna move right on to Route 66. Let's see if teams can get their kicks here, because this is a map where on the defense normally you see Orisa, you see the pulled pork. Right? Makes a lot of sense, because that's just a perfect area for you to hold, and you can pressure, the choke point underneath the gate there by the rock formation, because it works so naturally, the geography of the map, towards the composition of the Orisa and the Roadhog.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that combination, in itself could be overwhelming. That's where those mind games kind of start. And on the side of the defense, you said, like you called it, the Orisa is coming out here. That could that's kind of going to be them setting up on top of. I can imagine them setting up on top of big Earls, kind of just establishing a big defense. they're kind of messing around for a little bit right now. It seems like.
Yeah, especially both sides. Hammond is not yet in the meta quite yet, and he's not allowed in the tournament. So teams just mess around with him in spawn, just playing around, having some fun with it. I mean, we gotta pause.
Uh-oh.
Wonder what this could possibly be, if it was an accident or if a player is actually DCing.
Hold on, I have the doctor on speed dial, so I'll call if
dial up.
Yeah, so that's a little something that we weren't expecting here. Getting a pause in here. This is one of the rare pauses here in Russian Overwatch Cup. And other stuff we might see it often, but not in this. We are getting some R's, so maybe we're just about ready to get back into the action. But on the side of the defense at the moment, right now, of course the comps are always could change. Right now they have they always have that double sniper on the side of the defense. They have the double sniper offense, DPS heroes, and they have the Orisa D.Va combination. So how do you think that's going to play out here?
I think the Orisa D.Va is actually a good idea. I've seen the meta start to shift towards that, and the reason is because D.Va doesn't really have to play by the shield. She can be off on her own little solo missions, watching out for flankers, and that's why I think King's Row especially has shifted towards Orisa D.Va, because you can have your D.Va watch for flanks from like a Tracer or a Genji or something like that, and your Orisa just pressure the choke itself. And then I usually, you see a Junkrat with the Orisa D.Va, but I do like this double sniper because it can set up more crossfires, because there's a lot of angles that you can take here on this initial stretch by the gas station of Route 66.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what we were mentioning earlier, is that a crossfire that could be devastating to a team, especially if they don't know where to look. On the side of the offense here, we have a Tracer coming out with the Widowmaker. Of course, these things are also to change, but the match has started, so I don't imagine it will. They are going to run essentially a dive here with the Widowmaker on the side of the offense, and they're going to get the ball rolling already.
Let's watch Ping here. He's on the Tracer. I want to see how he approaches this flank. He's going to be halted. Ooh, barely blinks out of the way of that shot. I mean, call him Neo, because those dodges, he might as well be the chosen one, but he's taken down right away. He cannot dodge the Hanzo. Dropping from above and takes down two, and Hoshki as well follows up with a shot on Supreme. So, I mean, defense holding for the first bar here. Ronin Horde looking strong so far. Not a phase pushed back initially. They did get to pick on a Sabri. Could take advantage of that. They do have the spawn advantage here.
Exactly, yeah. And I saw that Supreme kind of was trying to take like a little bit of a spicy angle to try to take him out and see what they do. But look at this, the Orisa shield being put up onto the rock so that Hodgkey can take some shots. That's some team coordination right there.
I love Hodgkey on this Widowmaker. You know, he's proven himself really to be a force to be reckoned with. As him and Stanny both set up just insane amounts of pressure onto the tanks, and I don't think he's in a resable position. No, the Box of Rage is going to get the heck out of dodge. And again, Supreme is found, Neku is found. Man, this defense is brutal.
Yeah, give Ronin Horde an opening, and they will absolutely pounce on you. It's gonna be, one of the hardest tasks is to break this defense right here, just because it's so just locked down in position. They always know the angles you're gonna take. And look at this, they're already engaging them before the dive was ready.
Yeah, they were trying to pressure them, but here comes the Dragon Strike. It's gonna be up top. They might have hoped for more players there, but unfortunately, they dropped down to the low ground, and Stanny's finished off. Actually, his overzealousness for kills may have cost him, but there's a counter pick onto Ping. The Tracer now down. They're able to sneak the res off on both sides, but Alex Kuna is found as a result. You can't heal while the Mercy is rezzing. So Alex Kuna is found, but Vortex is found as well. That Zen pick might be a little more useful in terms of utility, but here comes a Diva Bomb on the side of Alexander. Not going to find a whole lot here as I'm dead inside, trying to deal with this Tracer right now. Stanny again gives him a Storm Arrow to the face and is going to take him down, and Hodgkey wins another Widowmaker duel. The cart has found some percentage here, some progress, but not a whole lot, as Alex Kuna is forced to use his Primal Rage here, try and space out the team. I think they're banking on the spawn advantage.
Oh, definitely. And, it's a little unfortunate because while that whole team fight was going on, they didn't move the card too much because they were kind of focused on the side fight. But they were still able to push Ronin Horde back just a little bit. And that's, I think, what they're going to have to do is shut down Hodgkey and Stanny somehow. Yeah. These double snipers are going absolutely insane on these guys.
They're really just slam dunking on him over and over again. I mean, that's pretty much been the story, is whenever they try to push in, I mean, you've just got Hodgkey and Stanny holding these long sight lines. Like I said, Alex kind of trying to combat that with a butt jump, turning in his face so he can't get headshot, but I don't think it's going to work because he's already so low. Grell's grabbed the mega health back, and now they're set up in a bit of a pincer here, but with Ping going down already, you can't really push in a whole lot. Box of Rage is forced to invest the Transcendence as well as the Valkyrie, and here comes the Transcendence as well from Neku. No, sorry, I misspoke there. Box of Rage uses the res and then the Valkyrie, and then Neku uses the Transcendence. But a counter bomb by Hanafuda takes down 2. Alex Kuna is found, but Vortex is brought right back into the fight. They're trying to even things out. Ping might be a bit of a DC here. You see that his player profile there, who he's playing. He's playing Hero 29, the mystery hero, actually. Is not even released yet. Doesn't even have a portrait in game. So not actually sure what happened to him, but with 20 seconds left here, I think Team might be calling for a pause.
Yeah, we got a lot of people calling for a pause. Okay, well, we're gonna have to deal with this anxiety music for a little bit as it builds up.
He's getting nervous here, setting the stakes, because with 13 seconds left, they really only got one more push here, and they've been able to stop them pretty hard. Ronin Horde has just been really great on this defense and just shutting them down again and again. It's been Hodgkey and Stanny. They've put themselves in these beautiful sight lines where they can just almost stop pushes before they even begin, because when the dive comp, when you dive in, it leaves your backline very open. Neku on the Zen has just kind of been left stranded, like a castaway on an island. Get it? I mean, wait a minute, Zen, he's got little balls. If you put a face on one of them and call it Wilson, there you go. He truly is castaway. But that might be how Neku's feeling right now, because as soon as Alex Kuna and Hanafuda dive in, he's kind of left in the back. And then Hodgkey and Stanny, they know this, right? Like we said before the match, they find the cracks, they find the weaknesses, and they exploit them. With your Zen down, you lose the Discord, you lose the Harmony, you lose the Transcendence. That's a whole lot of utility out the window. And it's very hard for Box of Rage to try and sustain his team solo, because then he's faced with a difficult decision. If he reses Neku, he can't heal the front line. But if he ignores Neku and doesn't res him and tries to heal the front line, they lose Neku. It becomes like a catch-22 where he doesn't have a solid answer to the question, what do I do? What decision do I make in the moment?
Oh, yeah, and I think, to my understanding, it's kind of like just kind of playing that in that position, that you were talking about with Zenyatta being abandoned. I've been in that role a couple times where you're kind of just fragging out in the back. You're launching those Discord orbs at the enemy team from a distance. Your whole team dives, and you're like, wait a second, guys, my movement speed is really not that fast. And you're catching up, and then all of a sudden they take like a sniper angle. The only thing you can call out over comms is sniper behind us, and then you kind of have to grit your teeth a little bit and be like, would have been helpful if you guys kept me alive. But it's just something that you're gonna have to adjust to and deal with, and that I think that's where these teams separate, is the teams that have great communication, great coordination, are on key with each other, like we saw with the last round with the orcs. Those guys clearly have a great synergy together. They are always executing what they need to be executing, and kind of moving together as a unit, adjusting well, have great game sense. Those guys are just they're insane with their coordination, and that's what you need to have, kind of, if you want to make it far past these group stages, is that coordination to kind of take out the enemy team in a way that overwhelms them but keeps you guys together.
You see, Pulse, your mic roboted out there, and it reminded me of what orcs was like. They seemed like they were drones, in a sense. And by drones, I mean like the bee drones, not like fly through the air and deliver your Amazon package drones. But because the way they were working together and working in tandem, it seems like their minds were in sync. They were truly, to me, a team. They just seemed like they knew exactly what everyone was going to do at exactly the right moment, at exactly the right time. Had it down to when they're going to use each ability, almost, it seemed like to me, which was crazy to see, and I was really impressed with them. And I think Ronin Horde is very much like that as well here. I talked to Vortex, who had the privilege of speaking with him, and these guys have been playing together for about 2 weeks, which is crazy, with a new main tank as well, brought into their roster. Of I'm Dead Inside here, and which is crazy to see that they've developed this much synergy and are working together as a team so well in just the short amount of time. So we're gonna move right back in here. You saw Box of Rage did get taken down before the pause came in, and now Hodgkey uses the infra site, gets the information.
Yeah, and I don't think they're gonna be able to get on.
Oh no!
Point. Oh, it was close, but not quite. So that's as far as that point's gonna move. Not very far. Ronin Horde having an absolute shutdown of a defense.
Yes. Wow. The halt was there. I knew the second that halt was come out, I'm like, no one can touch here. That's unlucky. Neku almost made it, but unfortunately couldn't. And if you look at this, look where they got to push this. They got to push this only a few meters here, 42, which is,
yeah.
I mean, practically nothing, right? I mean, you can get it up to the gate almost instantly. So if you're the defense here of the Not a Phase, you're really in a hard position. You're really in a bad state. You don't want to be here at all. You have to hold in a position that's not ideal, and you might just get shut down because they've got the spawn advantage. If you lose one fight, you lose the whole map. So it's really going to be a miracle hold.
Yeah, and I think that just that pressure of the double sniper was too much for them to handle.
Absolutely.
When they were on the offense. Look, they just have to make it in front of Big Earls, so that's not far at all. They couldn't handle all of that pressure, and now they have to set up something that's gonna work out in their favor. It seems for at the moment they're gonna kind of run with this dive defense, have Tracer Genji as their DPS. While they're gonna have Winston Diva, clearly as a tank limb. This is classic dives, feeling like Season 8 all over again.
Absolutely. This dive defense, I think if there's a way you want to possibly have a miracle hold, you either run dive or you run Goat's defense. We saw this Runaway versus Element Mystic. Runaway was almost able to hold on with a 6-minute time deficit on Horizon Lunar Colony on defense with their Goats defense, but I think dive works on the same principle, and that it's all about aggression, and you need to have more aggression than the actual offense does when you want to hold so close like this. So love this little ambush positioning that they've set themselves up in. All depends on what the offense is going to run. Okay, Alexander. Okay, he's just memeing around here with this Symmetra. All right, that's a little They're not even running any tanks. Okay, Ronin Horde, don't get cocky now.
Yeah, I wouldn't take Not a Phase that jokingly. They're already gonna lose on Dead Inside. Pingu's gonna try to pop off a little bit, contest this car. Hodgkey's a little pressured, so just has to run back to the healing of Sabri.
Yeah, you got a Ping again. He's pressuring, trying to find the picks. And they're gonna hold on. Alexander finished off. Okay. All right, switch off, boys. All right, the joke was there. They might still be
Okay.
running this. Oh, they're still trying here. Okay. All right, Ronin Horde. I see you guys. They're just messing
Oh
around
wow.
here. And I mean, they have the time though available to them. And as HodgeKey takes down Supreme, the box of rage there for the res, but they punch. They try to punch at least Alex Kuna into the wall, but he just gets finished off by Hanafuda. And all right, no tanks, no shields. This is where you guys need to switch off. Because I get the joke. You know, there you go. I'm dead inside, switching over to the Ryan. The joke, it's funny, but you gotta get serious, you know.
Right. Right. They're
No
saying
bully.
easy clap
No
in their
bully.
head, but yeah, no bully, please. So they, yeah, like you said, I'm dead inside switching over to the Reinhardt and Alexander switching on to the Diva. So it looks like so we're starting to get a comp
Bomb.
here. HodgeKey very low. Has to be
very
careful.
Yeah, Ping has the bomb, but here's a blade coming out from Vortex. It goes right into the Transcendence, and it's not going to find a whole lot of value there, as the cart is just a few meters away from Big Earls here. The win, here comes the counter ultimates. This is what happens when you run that meme comp. You let the defense build up these ultimate advantage, and now Supreme has got his own blade to counteract, you know, the next push. And if you look at what Ronin Horde has, they got nothing. They got absolutely nothing, as I'm Dead Inside is finished off as well. They have 0 ultimates to work with because they were running that meme composition. Alright, Pulse has unfortunately died, so a victim perhaps of the DC syndrome. But here, Hanafuda opening things up with a bomb onto Sabri here, and Supreme is X30 ping as well. Just winning things out, didn't even have to invest the blade, but let's watch Supreme here. Let's pay attention to how he's going to invest this blade. He wants to get the support from, as their name implies, his supports. To be able to push in and find the value from this blade. And I think really he has a big opportunity. Vortex doesn't have a Transcendence. They need to keep holding on here with 1 minute and 30 seconds left. This is his time to shine. Supreme needs to get a Supreme Blade, and he's looking for one right now as he dives into the back line. He's going to catch Vortex before being taken down by HodgeKey. They're trading now here back and forth. Spawn advantage, of course, on the side of the defense here. And Sabri just brings Vortex right back in the fight, but as a result, Stanny's found. Now, 5v5 here, fighting on the point. Here comes the bomb from Alexander. Not going to find anything because they duck around the corner in time, but Vortex and HodgeKey step up to the plate. They find 2 picks, and now 3 as Alex Kuna's found, and Hanafuda has got to get the heck out of dodge, but coming right back around for the loop around. Here comes Bakker's Rage flying in, looking for the contest, but it's just pressured down by Stanny right away, and here comes the Transcendence as well. They're just looking to push this point all the way through. No one can contest, and this is going to be the Ronin Horde winning the first map here on Route 66. The meme comp at the beginning looking like it couldn't find the value, but then they finally were able to push through, play the game, going to Alex Kuna here. Let's see what it is on this Winston. This is when, yep, he was pressuring him in spawn practically with this this Primal Rage, jumping right back onto the point and just zoning everyone away. Alexander going over the edge there. I was wondering how he got that pick, and now we know. Valiant effort there from Not a Phase, but in the end, Ronin Horde's aggression just proves to be just a little bit too much to handle. The double sniper comp shut them down on the defense, and then on the offense, once they got their heads in the game and started playing seriously, they were able to win things out, taking this 1-0. Not a Phase, back against the wall now. You gotta be able to come back and win the next one, lest you drop into the -6, which is not very fun in the slightest. Next map gonna be Assault, as we saw in the previous match between the Loliesport and the orKs. So it's all up to the losing team, which is Not a Phase, to see what map they are gonna pick. If I am Not a Phase, though, I'd pick a map that you're very confident on, that you have scrimmed on, that you've practiced, that you feel the most comfortable on, because I don't see a way that you're going to be able to come back if you pick a map that is very favored towards Ronin Horde. You know, even if you pick Hanamura, that's like practically their homeland. You know, if they are the samurai of old, samurai without masters, is what Ronin means, and they come from the land of Japan. So definitely don't want to pick that map. A little dangerous there, but okay. I was wrong the whole time. It's not Assault. It's going to be Control. We're on Oasis instead. That is what Not a Phase is going to be choosing here. A little interesting that they do choose a Control map. You know, usually Oasis of all control maps. You know, I usually see the other maps of um, Ilios or Lijiang Tower, Nepal. I feel like, you know, it kind of gets cast to the wayside for the most part in terms of the map that teams want to play. You know, Oasis, the only times I really see Oasis being in play that teams actively choose it are when it's overtime, or no, when it's overtime, when it's a tiebreaker and they don't have any other maps to choose from. I think Pulse is still a victim here of DC Syndrome, which is very, very unlucky. You know, usually we talk about how teams suffer from it, but it's very rare that actually a caster suffers from DC Syndrome. But I mean, hey, today is a day of firsts. What can I say?
I'm back. I took my meds.
Yo, he's back. There you go. Plugged in the Ethernet cable. Got things going here.
Yes, took my meds. I am back. Was a little sick there. There we go. All right. So actually we're on Oasis. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I said as soon as teams chose it. So I was like, oh, Oasis. That's a little odd. Normally teams don't choose this map, but I think it's interesting. Garden, very dominated by Far Mercy, as we've seen.
Yes, yeah, oh, yeah, definitely, yeah. And like, I like how that's we've seen comfort picks come out of these guys, especially from Supreme. You know, it kind of seems like he enjoys playing that Pharah, so that might be, you know, the dominating strategy here. Hodgkey on the McCree, specifically to counter the Pharah. We all know. So we'll see how that works out.
Triple DPS, interestingly enough, in one tank. I want to see how this works out because they have the McCree, but Vortex, low, taken down right away, and Hodgkey soon to follow. They do take down Vortex, or no, not Vortex, rather, Neku, but actually Stanny. See, this is what happens when you run this triple DPS. Even if you lose one of them, it doesn't matter because you still have the rest of your DPS available. So they're just looking to take this point right away here as Stanny is just trying to finish off the Far Mercy up in the skies. It's very hard when you are Genji, but I feel like he can do it. You know, we've seen him. He has the highlight reels. Oh my, ooh, lots of lag here. Lag disorder coming in big time here. EU servers, I mean, that's what's going to happen, but they've set themselves up on the point for the Ronin Horde here, and they are already established themselves. They want to push themselves in and gain as much percentage as possible.
Oh yeah, definitely, and they have to bring that pressure of the Pharah kind of to them. You have to focus those triple DPS because you know, those are going to be, you know, the thorn in the side of the rest of your team. You know, it's going to be hard to break to them unless you have it. Alexander's going to land a big bomb though.
There we go. And Vortex is found right away, though, by Supreme here. But again, both Zenyatta's down. They won't have the Transcendences available to them, as Alexander is found as well. I mean, my goodness, I'm dying right now. This is such big lag. I don't even know what ping I'm at. But Stanny's Blade is able to take down Supreme, and they finish off Hanafuda as well. Looking for the kill into the Tracer, but it's not going to find a whole lot. He uses the bomb, actually, which is interesting. Maybe not the best of decisions.
Yeah. It wasn't best because you don't have that for the rest of this team fight. Supreme is super close to the barrage though, so you could use that to your advantage.
They want to push it. Yeah, Supreme does have the barrage. They will be able to. They will actually. It'll be very hard for them to shut it down, rather, because they don't have the Diva. They really only have the Winston shield. But they're pushing in once more. They dive onto Hodgkin. He gets taken down right away, collapsed upon by this dive. Valkyrie now from both sides. Neku again, the first to fall, as usual on the side of Not a Phase here. And they're still on the point here. And Ronin Horde hasn't given an inch, really, to Not a Phase, because they know if you give him an inch, they'll take a mile. But here comes Supreme. I'm dead inside, shutting that down with the bubble, making him die by his own hand. Hanafuda is brought back into the fight from Box of Rage here, who's trying to dodge this Tracer of Alexander. He's going all around the battlefield here, trying to stay alive, but unfortunately is finished off by I'm Dead Inside, who doesn't need to aim with the Winston's Tesla gun. Dropping back down, rather, is Alex Cunnick here on the point, and there's a Transcendence invested from Neku as well, trying to open things up, relieve the pressure onto the tanks, as Vortex is just trying to contest right now. Here comes Stanley with another blade, finishing off Neku right away, finishing off Ping, and now Box of Rage as well. There's a triple kill with 99%, and just the Diva left on the point. I don't really see a comeback happening here.
No, it looks like they're going to take this very dominantly. That triple DPS is too much for them to handle. I thought, you know, maybe when Hodgkey was out of the picture taken down, that Supreme, that would be the opening for Supreme to kind of use that barrage. But the Winston there, like you said, to counter, used the bubble right in the face of Supreme. killing himself, and then that would be, you know, kind of the end of that push. So that was insane play. That I love to see here, and it seems like you're suffering from the same syndrome I was suffering from a little earlier, huh?
Absolutely. I mean, uh, oh my, I'm rubber banding all over the place. I don't know if you can tell on the stream, but it's fluctuating at a solid 500 to 400 ping. Honestly,
Right.
I might just leave the ping counter on here just because it's a little fun just to see it fluctuate back and forth. Insane. My goodness. I myself don't know what the heck is going on here. This is there we go. There we go. Now everyone should be able to see the ping in the top right corner. Look at that. 1,000 ping. Oh boy. I'm rubber banding. I don't even know what's happening, Pulse. I'm watching a PowerPoint slideshow right now, so you're just going to have to take over.
I'm trying my best. I don't know what's going to sound on your end, but Hanafuda is going to be able to take out I'm Dead Inside. That's 2 picks instantly from the start here. Ronin Horde establishing their dominance early on this point. They are going to flip it over to their side, and they're going to push back Not His Phase pretty dominantly. That Goats comp was just too much for them to handle. Supreme, they're still not letting up. Look at the pressure. They're pushing them all the way back to their spawn. This is actually crazy pressure. I'm Dead Inside is going to start to swing the hammer, get him back a little bit, but the Coalescence invested in this fight as well. So I'm Dead Inside is going to get separated from the rest of his team. Yeah, finished off exactly. Yeah, the rest of them are still being pressured. They're going to have to. It seems like the best option right now is just be go back into spawn. Kind of wait for everyone.
I'm back down now to a more reasonable 200 ping. Oh, watch Alex. He's going for the flank shatter here. Vortex finally finds out, but he's going to use it. Alexander is the only one to be found, and they invest the Fire Strike, trying to finish him off. Charge comes out, but he's going to be finished off himself. And now it seems that the Reinhardt, it's very hard to hide yourself when you're this big old beefy German man, you know? So maybe not the well thought through of plans, but ooh, Hanafuda is now hiding in the back here. I would just reset if I was him. No! He's running up to the point. Oh, look at him. They don't know he's there. The baby Tifa. Oh, Vortex and Sabri. Both they turn around. They're like, all right, what's contesting this point? And they figure this out. Let me just hop into my options real quick. So this is going to block the screen. I'm sorry for the most part here, but I can finally turn off performance stats. Back down, right down to a reasonable ping. But
Stanny has the barrage.
They're going to be looking for it here. Stanny's going to be dropping down from above. Box of Rage taken down. Stanny, though, is found himself by Supreme. 5v5, and here's a Graviton Surge. They invest a lot of their ultimates. They're looking for the combo. They're charged the Ryan into the wall, and that's going to open things up. He can't put his shield up like that, and Vortex is looking to be finished off as well. Sabri gone. Hodgkey, the only one left, the last man standing, takes down Nekyu before being finished off by Hanafuda here. Great retake using this Goats. Stanny tried to get things done with the barrage, but Supreme had the bubbles and just took them down before he could find all the value.
Yeah, Not a Phase establishing their dominance very, very early. And to this point, Stanny is gonna have to is gonna flank around here, try to find, you know, a little angle for them that would put a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah.
But look at this. They're going to invest a Coalescence as well. Wow, a lot
knocks down the Mercy. There's a Dragon Strike to try and support them, and the Mercy's going to stay alive. Sabri finally taken down by the Coalescence here, but with the Ryan down, they're trading back and forth here by both sides, and this is, of course, going to favor the defense because they still maintain control of the point. They still gain it. They got 15 seconds left. If you are Ronin Horde here, you've got to make a retake.
Yeah, absolutely. Ronin Horde is going to have to put the pedal to the metal, essentially. Pengu does have that rally, so it's going to get everyone armored up.
Oh, watch the grab, watch the grab. Here it comes. Hanafuda couldn't put up the defense matrix in time. And here comes the barrage as well. Stanny finishing off 3 there in that fight. 3.5 if you count the Diva Mech. And Box of Rage, the last man standing, who did get taken down very early, so he's just chilling out in spawn right now. In this, we see Ronin Horde want to mimic what Not a Phase is doing and pressure the spawns because that allows them to gain ultimates and then just rotate right back onto the point. That's why they position themselves here.
Exactly, yeah, and with that pressure, you know, it's so hard for them to kind of exit out of the point, especially with Stanny now on this Pharah, you know, is able to build up the barrage pretty quickly, and look at this, he's already slowly building up. Every single splash damage hit is going to give him a little bit of a boost. So, you're going to have to pressure down Stanny somehow, and it doesn't seem like there really is a clear counter. I mean, really, the only thing you can counter him with is another Pharah.
There, and here we see they're in a duel right now, Supreme and Stanny, but they have the support of the Mercy on the side of Not a Phase, so I think they might have the edge here. But here comes the Dragon Strike from Hodgkey. It's not going to find a whole lot there. Everyone's able to get out of the way in time. Ping almost taken down, but it actually does. Alex kind of, as he charges himself into it, trying to throw himself perhaps into the heat of battle. And now 15 seconds left. They're right back in the situation that Not a Phase put put the Ronin Horde in. They need to push in as soon as possible, but watch, I'm dead inside. Oh, he's looking for a big shatter here, and can anyone even touch the point? It really depends. Ping is there to try and shut him down, and they try, but here comes the shatter. Knocks down Neku, Supreme's finish, and no one could touch the point. That's going to be the Ronin Horde taking this 2-0, both on Oasis and in the set itself. Looking so strong here. Stanny getting to play the game. This is the barrage combo I predict. Yep, absolutely it is. I mean, what else really? Look at this Graviton Surge. Alexander was hiding, popped it as close as he could to the wall so it wouldn't get eaten by Hanafuda, and then just finished off everybody with the help of his tanks. And there you see Vox of Rage trying to dip his way out of that fight, able to get that in the end. And Ronin Horde 2-0, move themselves up further in the standings. So impressive, the gameplay that we've seen from them so far, and I cannot wait to see them play more. But that's going to end out our matches today. To recap, Pulse, why don't you tell us what went down here today?
So the first match of the day was Loliesport versus what's the team name? orKs White. orKs White did come in with the sweep there. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I have DC syndrome.
That's true.
So
I can't hold you.
I'm recovering. orKs White was able to sweep that out again, pushing their standings up. orKs White now taking over second place with the +4, while Loliesport kind of drops down into the negative. They're going to go down to -2, so that's something they have to recover with. While Ronin Horde still establishing their dominance as one of the best teams in this Russian Overwatch Cup. They're really making a case for being the best team here, and they're going to move up to +8. No one's even close to them in these standings right now, and I feel like as we get more and more to these mid rounds, the gap is just going to get wider. So those teams that are kind of in that mid tier is going to have to start clawing back, and for not a phase, they are going to drop down to that -6. Even in a loss, it still would have been good to kind of maybe get a map win just so you drop down to -5 instead of -6, so it's not that hard of a climb. But there's nothing really you could do, especially if you're getting outplayed like that. But remember, people, we have more matches in this round. Round 4 is still going to continue on August 10th. We'll have Regenerates going against orKs White, which we saw here today. So that's going to be, maybe something orKs is going to try to shoot for that top spot as well, while Regenerates still has a hole to climb out of. While Lolius and Exius are going to go head to head. Those are two mid-table teams trying to push their way up to try to break the top 3 teams. So we'll see how that turns out. Make sure you guys tune in there.
Absolutely. Other than that, though, gonna end things out. Thank you for that recap, Pulse. We'll be back again on August 10th with Regenerate going up against the orKs, and then Loliesport fighting against Exius. Regenerate perhaps looking for their first win, and orKs looking to move themselves up even further in the standings and try to match the pace that Ronin Horde has set so far. But we'll see you all then. Until then, my goodness. Sorry about the frame rate issues, by the way. Sorry about the ping. Again, I'm NA. They're EU. It's just a fact of life, I just upgraded my internet too, which is the weird part, but I guess just for the time being, my internet decided, nope, we're gonna take some time off here. We need a solid break. Who even knows? Whatever. All right. Well, we'll see you all next time. I was Rian, your play-by-play caster, and for Pulse Color Caster, we will see you all on Friday, August 10th, with some more of the Russian Overwatch Cup's Pro Division.